Yes. Good morning and welcome from my side also. I'm Welf Löwe, professor in computer science. I'm part of an initiative which is called DISA at LNU, which I will introduce later in my talk. DISA stands for Data Intensive Sciences and Applications, and it's a big data initiative, or one of the several big data initiatives, maybe the most important that we have right now at Linnaeus University. In my introductory talk, I will answer the question, what is big data? Of course, I will not. I will just touch on that question. And then I will give you a heads up on how to seize the day today, how you should listen and, process the information that the competent speakers will present you today in order to make collaboration possible, collaboration that Peter Aronson has requested or has asked us to perform. And Peter also mentioned the problem of migration. Actually, there are 65 million people who have been forced from their homes today. And quite a few of them come here to Sweden. And in order to help them in the best possible way, in order to help them most effectively and most efficiently also, maybe even to defend terrorist threat that maybe comes with these migration streams, we need to be more efficient and more knowledgeable of who is coming and when they are coming. We have actually all the data that is needed for doing so. We have information from Facebook or Twitter or other social media. We have information from political forecasts. We can exploit information from satellite surveillance. We have information from the border controls. We have information from weather forecasts. So we have a lot of data here in order to make that prediction possible. However, as we understand from all these different information sources, this should be a collaboration effort. It's a collaboration between different sciences. There should be computer scientists and media technology people. There should be people from the languages, from the political sciences, from social sciences, and all number of competences that are needed here in order to jointly solve that challenge, address that challenge. But it's also a challenge that addresses players in society. So we need to collaborate between university and the public sector and industry. And my talk is actually an invitation to this kind of collaboration. Both to people from within university who haven't been involved in this initiative yet, and people coming from outside who wants to meet us on this challenge. As I said, there's no lack of data, and in the future there will be more data around. This is a prediction which assumes that there will be something like 1 to 17 petabytes of Twitter data flowing around per year. There will be maybe something like 1,000 petabytes of astronomy data being available per year. YouTube to 1,000 or 2,000 petabytes per year. But even more dominant here in this prediction is the genomic information, which is estimated to be around 2,000 to 40,000 petabytes per year. So there is data that we can process here, and even more so in the future. Big data, the challenge to turn this data into something that is valuable is a profile, or is supposed to become a profile of Linnaeus University. So we want to be known and strong in the competences for processing big data, turning data into information, turning this information into knowledge, and making this knowledge actionable for value in society and in industry. As I said, there are several initiatives, most prominently our initiative called DISA at LNU. We want to create a Linnaeus University Center. We have a conditional approval of that center, and it may be a good thing that Peter was here and giving us a keynote. This will be eventually supported by university with more than 70 million Swedish crowns over the next 5 years. There are other initiatives which are more directed towards industry research and industry development and industry collaboration and innovation. You might know the Information Engineering Center and the efforts to create a research institute, Research Innovation and Development Institute for industry, which is actually the other side of the same coin. So we will have collaboration in big data within university, more directed towards fundamental research, and within DISA at LNU, we will have also offerings towards the society around us, industry and the public sector, to collaborate with us and the researchers at LNU in the topics of big data and similar. Other initiatives are cluster initiatives or initiatives towards teaching and education around the same topic. Well, I speak of big data, and it's a buzzword, but we are at the university, so a little bit of definition you have to take anyway. So big data is supposed to be analyzing data sets and streams to gain knowledge about technical, scientific, and sociological or economical phenomena. And if we speak of data, we mean something like symbols or tokens or bits and bytes or words or numbers. And of course, we cannot do a lot with bits and bytes. So we need to process this to information, being then data interpreted in a certain context, giving it the meaning. And even if we understand the information, we need to gain knowledge from the data. So we want to have actionable information that is insights that allow us to control certain processes or predict certain processes. And what is big here? Well, big means we have challenging quantities of data or information beyond the capabilities of humans, beyond the capabilities of your regular PCs that you are working with on a daily basis. And it is a moving target. Today, it might be something around 10 to the 12 or 10 to the 15 bytes today. That is tera or petabytes. It could be changing in the future when our devices become a lot better. So this little computer here has a capacity of 0.5 terabyte, just to set that in context. So that's 0.5 terabyte that it can store here. It's 1 year of music, 20 days of videos, 150,000 photos, 10 days of Hollywood movies. And remember the projection from before, where we said we need 1 to even 40,000 petabytes per year. That is 1 million to 40 million terabytes per year. So in order to master the challenges that I've addressed on my first slide, or that I mentioned on my first slide, I would probably use something like 80 million MacBooks here, and that would probably take quite some time to process the data. So that's the challenge that is ahead of us, and of course it's a collaboration effort. So data, of course, is interesting for us as IT nerds. So we love to take the challenges of speeding up computations, dealing with a variety of data sources to bring them together so that you can process the information. We are very much interested in security to make sure that the data is not stolen or is not interfered by non-authorized parties. But that's just one part of the coin. In order to really create value, we of course need to do something with that data. We need to interpret that data in the context. We need to create values. And you will hear a number of talks today which address challenges from industry, from society, from research, which try to do something valuable with this data. So already today, we have collaborations with industries in these projects that will be sketched later today. We have Atlas Copco, IBM, Ericsson, Sigma, I've seen some representatives here, Meltwater, and other companies who are joining us already today. And this is really an offering for you coming from other companies not mentioned there to contact us and to be part of that game. We also have these collaborations with branch organizations representing different industry. We have them with the IT industry, with the building and construction industry, heavy vehicle industry, and manufacturing. And again, we are happy to join forces here with other non-IT industries. Just because it's a nerdy topic, it shouldn't be locked in that nerdy corner. And we also have collaborations with the public sector. It's easy to just prefer industry, but the public sector plays a really important role here. There's a tremendous amount of public data available, and there's also an amount of public data needed in order to address all the big challenges that we have mentioned today. We have e-hälsomyndigheten here in Kalmar, and we have related projects connected to e-health, and we will hear about these projects later today. Also, we have connections with Strålsäkerhetsmyndigheten and related projects. But if there are other agencies who want to come in contact with us, please come forward. Nonetheless, there are also a number of researchers here from Linnaeus University who have just been on the satellite of our efforts. And also those researchers are cordially invited to join us here in our profiling activity. So we are actively seeking for new ways of collaboration, and I mentioned a few standard tools that we have for doing so. We have thesis projects, high-performance computing center, we have data and text streaming platform, we have seed projects, digitalization courses and seminars, development of and contribution to educational programs, workshops for developing realistic research innovation projects, the research and innovation projects themselves. So there's a number of tools that we can offer you, and whatever fits best, you could join in one of these efforts. I'm not going through all of these tools, but I will just highlight a few of them. Maybe some of them are known to you, and then you can just creatively think of how you can link into. But some of them are new and are maybe of interest for everybody. So CSIS project is the standard tool of collaborating with the society around us. But that continues to hold for collaboration within university. We as computer scientists, we are constantly seeking for interesting topics also from other subjects, from other disciplines to collaborate. And now especially on the topic of big data. Why would you do that? Well, of course, there are many motivations, and each and every of these motivations is good enough for us. So idea testing and prototyping could be one of them. Doing an explorative study with us, that could be another good reason for doing a thesis project with us. Getting in contact with future employees, it's a very valid reason and used by many industry partners that we work with. Getting in contact with a teacher as part of a marketing strategy or as first step to a common research, that's also valid and happens all the time. And there are more reasons to meet us and do thesis projects with us. In case you have any questions, please contact Diana here, and actually that's also a default advice. Whenever you don't know exactly how to approach us, she is the go-to girl and will point you to the right person. It's about time now for thesis project ideas, and therefore I so prominently try to promote this. So if you're sitting on an idea that you would like to explore together with us and a student, then come forward and submit your ideas. The High Performance Computing Center is something that we are going to develop within this LNUC initiative, this Linnaeus University Center initiative. It will be a high-performance computing platform providing advanced computing and storage infrastructure and knowledgeable scientific and technical stuff. It will provide services to scientists and to the regional industry and to serve as a platform that complements the large-scale efforts that are located in Lund and in Luleå, and be somewhere in the size between what you have on your desk and what you have there on these national centers. The core of this high-performance computing center exists. We do have two accelerated single-node systems with 12 processing cores, where we can do some experimentation on limited-sized problems. But as you understand, this is something that we are going to build up, and it's very wise to contact us on early stages, because then we know what needs will come from industry, what needs will come from society, or from other disciplines, so that we develop the things into the right direction. If you have more questions on that, it's Sabri Plana who will lead that effort. Sabri, are you here today? No, he's not. But Yvonne is. So Yvonne is the first customer to this high-performance computing center, and she will give the next talk here. We have this seed project, and we inherit this idea from an instrument that we have in the Information Engineering Center. There we develop seed activities where researchers, together with industry or people from the public sector, can develop some ideas to a stage that it can become a project that is then externally funded, or that is an internal development project at the company. So moving something from an idea to something that is that we can allocate money on. And we sponsor this with 200,000 crowns. It's a very short-term activity, 3 to 6 months in the future. That's the maximum time that I would like to give it. It's good for idea testing, it's good for prototype development, and it usually ends up, when it's successful, in some larger project that are then bringing external money into the region. If you're interested, well, guess who? It's Diana you should contact. We have now, well, Peter Arason talked about the constant change that we have to undergo in university or in academia as an institution. And one of the changes that we have been doing or promoting in the last years is that we wanted, and we have become better in our offerings to industry people or people with a degree or who have been working in industry or the public sector for quite some time. People who want to come back to university, take some classes, take some courses, maybe complete their formal education, maybe get an examination. We have some offerings here for people with that background, with a background in the work life. We have content that is requested by industry around big data and other more broader topics, ranging from testing to agile development. And we have adapted also the forms of education. We have distant education here, we have registration on short notice, we have very short teaching cycles. So these programs are, and educational offers are easier to take for people who have a life beyond campus already. If you're interested in that kind of collaboration or that kind of activities, please contact Ola Peterson at Linnaeus University. Well, if you ask what is valuta for us as researchers, then it's externally funded projects, right? So whenever I or my colleagues are evaluated if we are good or not so great, then they start counting what are the number of externally evaluated projects. That is, at the end of the day, people at university are really eager to collaborate with you in some externally funded research projects stretching over 3 to 5 years. So that's something that you should exploit, right? So it's us it's we as researchers who are really interested in doing that. So you can sort of say, sloppily speaking, you can easily buy yourself a researcher. If you just invest your time, if you come with interesting problems, with interesting data, then we would, of course, make everything possible to get common projects funded. That is, make Stockholm or Brussels to pay for common research. And beyond your time, you get a researcher and a research team and all the competence that you will learn more about later today, almost for free. So that's, of course, something that we are really interesting to do with you guys. And we have some successful examples, among others with Sigma Technology sitting here. We have some proposals out there with other companies sitting here in this room. But this is, so to say, some offerings that we constantly have and that we are really eager to conduct. So once again, how should you seize today? So the best that could happen for you is that you understand what competence we have here at university by while listening to the different topics, different researchers' talks, understanding that my problem is somewhat similar and my question or my interest is somewhat similar, and get in contact with these competent people that you will learn to know later today. So you could also think in terms of what is the way we would connect to university in the best possible way, using one of these collaboration tools that I have just briefly mentioned. And as I said, in case of doubts, contact Diana and she will help you with getting in touch with us. Thank you for your attention. That was all from my side. I wish us a very pleasant and a very interesting day. And Cora, you're introducing the next speaker. Thank you.
Hello.